Hey, what's up, guys? So this would be a coffee talk, Coffee Enemas Part 3. It's been a while since I've done any videos simply because I've been focusing on cleansing and getting rid of stuff in my body and taking care of my family and things like that. We actually had a short little vacation as well in there over the recent weeks. But basically, this is Coffee Talk Part 3. And if you're not caught up on the other ones, it doesn't really matter. I'll probably just be sharing new information. You can jump in anywhere. So let's get right to it. I took this New Year, New Me thing probably a little too far. So just a little recap. There was a woman who came in and I talked to her, and she said that she got rid of her sciatica issues just through doing coffee enemas. And so I was like, really? And my wife suffers from sciatica issues, and I decided to be the guinea pig. I've always been the type of person that goes ahead and does something first before other people to try it out, see its effectiveness, etc. And once I got into this, I started learning more about coffee enemas and how people, after a number of years, like 2 years past rope parasites. And for me, I am close to the age of 40 now. I guess closer than I am to 30. And I believe basically that I have a rope parasite that is a stage 5. And if you look into rope parasites and do more research, there is some good books out there. There is a Russian doctor who has several patented methods in Russia for removing these parasites. And so this all started with coffee enemas, right? For me, coffee enemas became a gateway. Yeah. After the coffee enemas, I did baking soda and salt enemas, and I found I passed a bunch of parasites that way. I did lemon enemas. I found I passed a bunch of parasites that way. I did lemon juice enemas. Yeah, I'm not sticking a whole lemon up my butt or anything. Haha. So besides the lemon juice, apple cider vinegar, and each one of these, basically after I got down pat with doing coffee enemas, understanding how to do them correctly, and easing up the quantity. Now it's basically like 2 quarts of water, basically with maybe 6 ounces of that being lemon juice, or just 3 juiced lemons, 3 fresh lemons that are organic. The baking soda one is like 1 to 2 teaspoons of salt with a tablespoon of baking soda, and then 2 quarts of water, about 100 degrees. And like I said, I've passed a lot of different worms. Just yesterday, after doing a lemon juice enema, I passed a 3-foot parasite. It was mind-blowing. It was crazy. It was unbelievable. It was basically the 4th or the 3rd stage. I'm getting all the stages confused now because I think the stage 5 is like this adult one that is really big, and it just stays in your lower colon, your large intestines or whatever. And you might be asking why or how I know that. Basically, because when I laid down at night, my stomach was always like constantly moving, and it would produce nervousness, anxiety, etc. And that is one sign of you may be suffering from parasites. Nervousness, trouble falling asleep, insomnia, those types of things may be a symptom, basically. I can go into the symptoms more later of what kind of symptoms people suffer from if they have parasites, but I guess right now I'm going to talk about more is when I started doing the coffee enemas, several things happened. I noticed that I passed tons of liver stones. I passed a whole heck of a lot of different types and different stages of those parasites. Like the stage 1, it looks like jellyfish kind of is how it describes it. A stage 2 is it's like has these bubbles that it uses to latch onto and hold up and get a hold of your to just anchor it into your intestines, basically. I passed a bunch of those. The third stage is kind of another jellyfish looking thing that feeds off of your blood. The fourth stage was called like a seaweed one, and that's the one that I passed yesterday. That was like 3 feet long, basically. There's all these, well, actually, there's these other ones that are like seeds. I've got all kinds of images. You could do research. I can leave some more description in the description. I could make a playlist. I probably will make a playlist for all of the parasite related videos that I've watched. But yeah, so this really led to just me doing an extensive parasite cleanse. And like I said, I believe I've got that 5th stage one inside my large colon because I could feel it moving around. And it was a telltale sign that on the 2nd day of my parasite cleanse, I started a parasite program, the 15-day from Renew Life, which is in some of my other videos. And that pretty much stopped my gut. And by that, I mean I'd lay down to go to sleep and my gut would just be still. There was hardly any movement. And that was a big sign. But then going on to doing enemas, my ability to retain my enema was no longer just due to sheer will or anything like that. Like just holding it was an issue because I was fighting something. There was literally something inside me that, I now know for a fact is this parasite, and it's pretty large, like I've said, because I actually passed part of it. So I think that they're somewhat segmented, or I have no idea. But anyways, like I was saying, there was this one adapter from my enema kit that I have from other videos where it just has a nozzle and it just sprays the enema stuff, whatever you choose from the bag inside of you. And this worm thing would basically plug it. And I noticed it wasn't really going in, so I had to get tricky. And there's this other one, this other adapter that I put on the end of it, and it has like this it looks like a plus sign at the very tip if you're looking straight onto it, and it just blasts it out the side through 8 tiny holes. And then the worm, or whatever you want to call it, couldn't stop that one. But yeah, so wild and crazy. I'm still fighting this thing, basically. I wanted to have it completely finished before making this next video, but I thought it was just kind of a milestone to keep going and to share my experience of what I have done. I also put a lot of things to help me retain this. It's like I could feel it trying to force the fluids out of me. And so if I push down on where close to where my pelvis is and where the large intestine is, I could actually feel this thing inside me. And then if I like put more pressure and kind of moved it, then I could feel it back off. I could feel it move away, and then I wouldn't have the urge to actually pass the enema. So it's been a literal battle. Whereas the coffee enemas, after a little while, I have been able to retain those for an hour. And I did that basically just because I knew I was fighting a parasite, which was what the Russian doctor talked about, was retain these enemas for 1 hour. And then he talked about do a cleansing water flush after, and then to do another one for an hour. And so once I started trying to do the lemon juice ones, the lemon ones was really, really feisty. I know what you're thinking. Like, I thought this at first about the whole lemon juice wouldn't that hurt inside of me? But you really can't tell. Your stomach, your bowels, all those are actually very acidic in somewhat of a nature, because like the colony of intestinal flora, like say, for instance, acidophilus, it's named acidophilus because it is acid in nature. It desires an acidic state, basically. And so I'm guessing one of the things about the lemon is lemon juice is actually alkalizing. So if you wake up and have lemon juice in the morning, it can help you alkalize, but it's alkalizing, and they say that's really good for healing your body. If you're overly acidic, that is, of course. But anyways, where was I? So yeah, putting the lemon juice enema inside of me, it didn't feel anything painful. Like, I'm sure if you had a hemorrhoid or a fissure towards the end of your near your anus, then it would be painful. In that case, you should just wait. You shouldn't be doing enemas until your butt is like healed up. Yeah, that would be bad. But anyways, moving forward with those lemon enemas, I noticed a real fight to retain those, and it's been very hard to get even 8 minutes or more doing those types. And I found several different methods that actually help, like a essential oil blend mixed with like a coconut base. What I would use would be like oregano, clove bud, and cinnamon. If I put those together, I found that oregano by itself was actually the strongest antiviral or anti-parasitic, basically for me. I saw the best results with that. But if I wasn't using that, another method I would use to help me retain it was putting ice packs on my pelvis region, just above the genital region, basically, and putting a little bit of pressure just so that I was kind of blocking off the exit. That would really help. Or just putting an ice pack on the complete bottom exit, basically. So now at this point, I could still do the coffee enemas for like an hour, and I basically have no problem holding those in. I think since the coffee is like acidic in its own nature, that it probably doesn't bother the actual parasite all that much. That's my opinion, even though I know it does kill smaller ones and smaller, like if there's the eggs type or the stage 2, stage 3, whatever, I think those ones are gone. And other than that, I've been doing a lot of things, from drinking ginger tea, like homemade ginger tea. I just slice up ginger roots, put it in water, steep it 20 minutes, maybe longer, and drink that. I've also been doing clove tea. I'll drink that as often as possible, or I'll mix those two together. I've been taking oregano oil on the regular, and I've heard about other people using Hulda Clark's parasite things. She has a whole system for that where you can finish one system, take a little break, go to the next system, take a little break, go to the next system. I've really just been trying to do the things that are the most affordable for me, that I can like do and that are attainable for me. I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I've also done the lemon juice enemas where I put black walnut inside of it. And that was actually a good suggestion from Vaughn from Spirit of Health KC. He's got a great channel as well. Tons of subscribers, tons of views, especially for a health channel, I'd say. So we were in Kansas City. We visited with him, talked with him. That was really great. Good to see him again. He's one of the key guys that actually influenced me into learning more about natural health and working on a degree in naturopathy. And other than that, he gave us this list for parasite symptoms, and I can just run through this. Some of them I maybe have mentioned already, but some of them a lot of people suffer with. And that's the thing. I think the statistics, people say, I think Dr. Axe said 50% of the population deal with parasites, but I've heard anywhere up to 80% or higher deal with parasite issues. And while I've been doing these coffee enemas and other cleanses, I've passed, little hookworm parasites. I've passed tons of different stages of the ropeworm parasite. But anyways, here's the list. Potential symptoms: tired, chronic fatigue, foggy thinking, depression, forgetfulness, lack of focus, craving for sugary foods. If you have candida overgrowth, and that's, something you can tell for sure, you're more likely to have it because parasites feed on sugar for the most part, or they feed off your blood kind of deal. And if you have high blood sugar, then they probably love that even more. So if you eat more than normal, but you still feel hungry, that's because all the nutrients are going to those parasites, right? If you have digestive problems, gas, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, those can be issues. IBS. I was talking to a friend that says he, takes a drink of a soda or a pop and then suddenly has to go to the bathroom. And I was like, yeah, it sounds like it might be borderline IBS or it could be parasite symptoms. So if you have a burning sensation in your stomach, if you have an iron deficiency, that makes sense because, they're feeding on your blood. So if you're not, feeding yourself foods that are good in iron, which would be like good green leafy vegetables. And the funny thing is dark chocolate is actually a really good source of iron. So everybody's going to go out and get a bunch of dark chocolate, I bet. So if you have difficulty losing weight, gaining weight, no matter how hard you try, that could be another sign. Joint pain, muscle pain, arthritis, those could clear up even doing coughing enemas because your body produces glutathione. It's master antioxidant on a higher level. But it could also be just due to parasites. So skin issues, any type of skin issue you could basically think of, it may be related to a parasitic infection. If you have allergies to almost anything with no apparent cause kind of deal, if you lay down to go to sleep or wake up in the morning with an itchy butt, that's a sign, simply because parasites crawl down to that region just to lay their eggs for some reason. And I think here's some of the ways that you could get parasites. If you eat pork, if you eat sushi, that's a big one. If you eat undercooked meats, if you eat undercooked poultry, if you eat undercooked anything, then in the meat category, those ones could definitely give you parasites. Just walking around outside barefoot could get you hookworm parasites. And if you just drink tap water, it's possible that a lot of the water systems in America are filled with Giardia. I think it's more common out west, but Giardia is a type of parasite that not even chlorine will kill. So that's not really that great or encouraging. But anyways, so yeah, bleeding gums, headaches, restlessness, anxiety, nervousness. And there's a little note here that talks about it can be because of the waste that parasites leave behind. If you have an increased heartbeat, if you have heart pain, insomnia, I already talked about that. If you wake up between 2 and 3 a.m. often, that's because that's one of the most active times for these parasites, for one thing. If you grind your teeth, if you have a lot of drooling during your sleep problems, restlessness, the dark circles under your eyes, that's the one I really look forward. I've continually reduced the amount of dark circles under my eyes, and it's been a huge gain, especially since I've done these coffee enemas. And they're still there. There's still a little bit of dark circles under my eyes, but they are getting less and less. So TMJ may be a symptom, low immune system. That's what most doctors say nowadays, is that if you have parasites, it's the leading cause of going into other diseases, is basically just having parasites. And yeah, I was just talking to a friend tonight about the bottom line is if coffee enemas are so inexpensive that it only costs the cost of light roast organic coffee, so it's higher in caffeine and theobromine and those things, and an enema kit that's like $20, then and that could significantly improve your health. I mean, before, the only thing that held me back was it wasn't normal according to my society. But the more I researched it, I found out traditional Chinese medicine, very normal. Ayurveda in India, very normal. In Sumeria, which is regarded as the cradle of civilization, like the first civilization, it was normal. It's only become abnormal in our society today, or you're only a fringe, extremely weird health nut if you do that, or it shouldn't be regarded as it is in our society today. It should be a standard for procedures and stuff. Vaughn, in another video that he did, he talked about how it used to be a wing in hospitals where it was all colon health based and enemas and stuff. I don't know if that was every hospital, but it was normal. It was a part of everyday healing, basically. So back to the list. If you have food allergies, food sensitivities, environmental intolerances, or oversensitivity, chemicals, perfumes, fragrances, that's always been me. I mean, I've had fragrance issues for a while, probably 20 years now that I can think of. Loss of appetite, sexual dysfunction in men, menstrual cycle problems in women, all these things make coffee enemas seem like one of the best choices. I've also heard other people that have done coffee enemas said that it's been great for them because it actually reduced how sensitive they were to caffeine. And when you take the caffeine or the caffeine into your colon like this, it doesn't affect everybody like it does if you consume the caffeine through your mouth. It can still get into your bloodstream to some extent, but also, like I was saying, your body will just adjust and you won't be as sensitive to it anymore, which is great for a lot of people, for me especially. So other than that, this has become a long video. I've got tons of pictures that I could show you. If anybody's interested in a graphic video of all the photos of things that I've passed while doing all these different types of enemas, I should probably put that together because that's probably what's going to get a lot of views on YouTube, in all honesty. Other than that, when you start passing parasites, the bowel movements smell really bad. It's stunning how terrible they smell, simply because that's kind of the nature of parasites, is they really love really nasty stuff. They really try and back you up, and then they can wrap themselves around your poo and extract the things from it and let it, get worse, because they probably have some type of relationship with candida and all these other bad bacteria that could be inside of you. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, message me. Anything you want to know about, feel free to email me. Check out my Instagram. So I think that's it for this part 3, guys. It kind of turned into a little bit of a tangent where I talked about how, this led to other things for me, but it's all leading to better health. And in that regards, stay healthy, guys.